Okay, some people want to know how I make my PR bracelets that I give the cross-country runners. Somebody else commented that they make inspirational quotes and things like that on them. It's another good idea. I sometimes put their names on them. Sub whatever, like the one I want to show you for an example. It says, we'll say sub 16 on it because I have a guy who's hoping to break 16 this year. So we're going to do that. I made a little cheat sheet here to start off with so that you can see where I get and some of those things. I'll show you that right away. I'll kind of use it as a guide to run through this kind of quickly. But this is the end product with a knot tied on it, and that's just a little piece of aluminum, and I'll show you how to make that in a second that we use that with. I use aluminum washers. Sometimes I use brass. These brass ones are a little bit bigger. If I were to measure this one, it's right at 7/8 of an inch, and this one's almost exactly 1 inch, but the 3/8 hole. If you want to order them, you can order them from Fastenal, the aluminum ones, and there's the part number and everything. The brass ones I bought on Amazon, and it's like, I think I have it on here. What was it? $12 for 25 of them. They're much more expensive. You can get 100 aluminum ones, and they're lighter. I think they like them better because they're lighter. The cord that I use for the bracelet is just this 1/8 inch bungee cord, or shot cord, so some people call it. I just mark out a thing on the table. It's about 9.5 inches for a medium, 8.5 for a small, and I just use that. It's a good idea to measure it because I don't know how many pieces of that shot cord I've wasted cutting it just a little too short. Okay, as far as making them, you can buy these letters. I bit mine at Michael's, and you have to buy them either uppercase, lowercase, or numbers separately. They're about $22 for each different one that you get. I recommend, if you're just going to get one, you need the numbers, of course, and you need, I would say, lowercase letters first. I think they work better. They take up less space on the washer, and I think the kids like them, and they look pretty good. So you can get those from Impress Art. They come in their own little case. This is a little ammo box that I have so that I could put a bunch of them in there together and keep them all together rather than coming in one little case. But it's Impress Arts, and you can find it at Michael's, or they have their own website if you want to order them or something like that. The other tools you might need, you may need a pair of needle nose pliers. That's these. A good pair of scissors because you need to cut the aluminum in the cord, and then a lighter to burn the ends of the cord so that it doesn't fray after you get through. All right, let me show you. I'll show you how you stamp one of them. You don't really have to hit it very hard. You just take the coin, always check it and make sure it's facing the way you want it to. And I have this big heavy 2-pound hammer sledge. I like it because it has a big wide surface on it, but you can use a regular hammer, and you can buy a kit for close to $100 from Impress Art, but it's got a bunch of stuff you don't need. Just get a hard piece of metal like this that you can put underneath it. And let's see, that's the C, or the X, there's the X. And so you just place it on there, and you really don't have to hit it very hard. Just kind of tap it like that. And that's on a little flimsy piece of aluminum that I used to do to tie the braces together. But even with the washers, you don't have to hit it very hard, and you'll figure that out. You can play with it. After you've put your letters in there, you can use Sharpies. They work pretty well to color the letters in, or this is a paint pen. I like the paint pen because I think it just stays better. It's a harder surface when it dries. It doesn't rub off as easy. But you can use Sharpies too, and Sharpies come with a lot of colors, so they're a lot easier to find, you know, school colors and things like that. And you just kind of smear it down in there. Try to get it in there really well on both of them. Then you take a little, you can probably use rubbing alcohol. You can use, I use a goof off. You can use anything with a lighter fluid, anything like that. Put it on a paper towel, or this is a piece of cotton t-shirt. And after it's on there, you just kind of rub it off like that. And so then the letters really stick out. And so after that, all you really want to do is tie it on and make the bracelet. I'll show you how to tie it. It just takes practice. I put the top cord about 1.5 to 1.75 inches shorter than the other one. And then I go over the cord, underneath the cord and through that little loop, and I'll pull that down and kind of work it down until I get that little shape like that. That looks kind of like that. And this one may not be exactly even. You have to go back and you may have to retie it a couple of times to get the 2 tags on each side to be even. Then you flip it over and you want to match this on that side. So what I do is you make a loop going over the cord, through the washer, and then back through the loop you made. And you just keep working it around till you get it kind of tight, like that. And that's the best way I've found to tie it. And then you kind of space it out and see if they look good. Now to tie the 2 ends together, I just take this piece of aluminum, and what I use, I've got an old car tag, and I've got several of them. Over the years, you just wind up getting car tags in Georgia, because when you buy a new car, you get a new tag a lot of times. And I cut a piece that's about 3/8 wide by about 1/2 inch long. And I take my needle nose pliers and I fold it once just a little bit right in the middle. And then I fold each one of those halves into quarters just a little bit. Like that. And then I'll work it down either with the pliers or my fingers till I get something that looks about like that. And then all you got to do is stick one end through, stick the other end through. If you pull on them and stretch them a little bit, they get smaller, they flatten out. Then you take your pliers and you tighten it down. And you don't want to tighten it and open it and manipulate a whole bunch, because the aluminum will break over time. And just close it down. If you don't want to do this with the aluminum, which is a cheap, easy way to do it, you can buy hog rings. If you look on here, they're called hog rings. They're a little, like a wire loop thing, like you'd see on upholstery or something, that you, in a special pair of pliers that go with it, and you just squeeze them down like that. I just never have one to go into trouble doing that. This isn't a lot of trouble for me. I'm not making thousands of them, so I do it this way. And once you've tightened it down, really, that's kind of big. That would probably fit my wrist, but the typical high school girl cross-country runner, it's too big. You could take it and you can actually drag these through and make it a little smaller. And if you do that, you can snip the ends off. And that shows you what the other thing I do is, you get a piece of cord like this when it's first cut. You take a lighter, you just melt the end of it, stick it to the metal, do the other end, melt it. This one's already been done, but it'll still work. I stick it to the metals, and the reason I do that is it flattens it out, and you get that little ridge right there, and that helps keep this from pulling through. Doesn't happen very much, but then you just, get it flattened down. And that's your finished product. It's not that hard to do. The only other thing I would tell you, I don't think I've mentioned, this is where I get my shop cord, paracord planet. They have hundreds of colors. This is 1/8. This is 100 feet of it. I think it's about, I put it on here. It's about $15, 100 feet for $14. And you get free shipping on that. I usually order 100 feet. I started off ordering 25 or 50 feet, and you go through it so fast after you make a few mistakes and whatnot that it's easier. Just go ahead and buy the bigger amount and do that. If you have any questions, just send me a message on here. I'll try to help you out. I think that pretty much covers everything.